business.
So when I came here to Kheti Khan, I saw all the work, including the hard work of plowing the field, is being done by women. When I came to the village, everybody was knitting. They were going to the jungle with a big pack of wood, firewood that they had collected, and they were knitting with the other two hands. They would balance the firewood on their head and knit. Crochet and hand knitting are tough products to sell in our country because handcrafted products are very well received and much appreciated um, abroad than here. Our, I think, number one category is toys, where our toys are very different. But having said that, we make anything and everything in crochet. We can make big blankets, daris, tableware. Small rakhis are our huge sellers. Logistics is always a problem with the Pahad. Being Pahad, there is always some climate related problem with the roads.
Hello and welcome back to the Earshot podcast. I'm your host Varsha Kaul, and you are watching another episode of It's Her Business. Today's episode is about a woman who left behind a secure corporate job to build a life and livelihood ecosystem in middle of Himalayas. Our guest today is Pratibha Krishnaiah, the founder of Himalayan Blooms, a social enterprise that has transformed the lives of over 300 rural women across Uttarakhand. Pratibha, welcome to the Earshot podcast.
Thanks, Varsha.
Pratibha, you were working as a software engineer in Bengaluru with a global organization like Thomson Reuters. What was the moment when you felt that you wanted something more from life?
So when I was working as software engineer for 8 years, I never really thought that I will be questioning my life's purpose. At 30 years, I really needed something stronger for me to, you know, aspire to. And at that point in time, when I was rising from one level to another in my career, I was I didn't see a strong purpose in working at any company. And I thought it's high time I don't wait for my 40s to move into a village and work with the people and communities.
Correct. When you work in a corporate world, there is a stability and clear career path. So at that point, when you shifted to Uttarakhand, was fear stronger for you or excitement, or you were excited?
I think it was a mix of concern, mix of adventure, the thrill of what I'm going to do, because that was something I've never done in my life. All my life, I have been in Bangalore and haven't even moved to another city. Forget a village. But although my dad is from the neighboring district, Mysore, um, he was a farmer, and I used to go to my native village for summer holidays. I used to enjoy it, but Uttarakhand is something else. So it was excitement for sure, but also I was very scared of the cold environment, the cold weather here. So that was one big fear that I had, which I've overcome now. So yeah.
Pratibha, in 2014, you became part of the SPI Youth for India Fellowship, and that decision took you from Bengaluru to Kheti Khan village in Uttarakhand. How was the transition from city life to village life, and what was the biggest cultural shock you experienced?
The culture shock was mostly with the language. I thought the language is mostly like, movies, Hindi movies, everything will be clear. But it was not really a culture shock as much as having to speak in a language which I haven't spoken day in and day out. I would watch a lot of Bollywood movies, but um, in terms of speaking is a different, a whole new ball game. So yeah, that I would say that was a tough point for me, to converse with anyone in broken Hindi, where I would speak and people would mostly be laughing at my grammar, especially with the striling pulling that Hindi has. Yeah.
Many people romanticize village life as simple, but in reality, especially for women, it's far more complex. Which challenges faced by rural women affected you the most?
So when I came here to Kheti Khan, I saw all the work, including the hard work of plowing the field, is being done by women. The man of the house hardly does anything at all. So the woman here is a farmer, is a homemaker, and everything else in between. And despite of that, she is subjected to domestic violence, and so many other things. But I think the one that most affected me the most was domestic violence. I was like, what is it that the man has to complain when he's being fed, he's being cooked for, and the work also has been done by the woman. And it is highly unfair to see um, women getting beaten up without even a noise. That, I mean, she won't even raise her voice while doing so. So I think that part of it affected me the most when I came in. Yeah.
But this is very personal and relatable question. When you
Mhm.
decided to leave your corporate job in Bengaluru and work in rural village, how difficult was it to convince your parents? Was What was their initial reaction when you shared this decision?
Yeah, it did not go down so well with them. Obviously we are an Indian family where women are expected to get married and settle down, and not run off to a village to do social service, especially when you're in a corporate career, way into the corporate career. Right. Yeah, my parents were like, is something wrong with you? Maybe you need to go for counseling or something. Are you maybe depressed? Yeah, that was their question. They didn't understand why I was doing this. But yeah, they didn't understand that for your purpose you would want to travel, live differently, and see your options. um, they didn't understand that mindset at all. So I had to do it any which ways. And now they're happy seeing my progress and seeing my purpose has led somewhere. And yeah, they support me with wholeheartedly now. But yeah, initially when I told them that I'm leaving, quitting my job to move to a village to work for a year, um,
Mhm.
it it was met with a lot of resistance from everybody in my family. Yeah.
Were they concerned about your safety, future, or a career gap?
Everything, all of it. Most importantly, career gap, because safety, they knew that I'm somehow, I can manage it. But yeah, career gap was what they were concerned about. And also, um, yeah, marriage, like any other Indian household girl. Yeah.
When you shared your idea with local women, and what was their reaction first?
Their reaction was, oh wow, it if that's possible, then amazing, but we don't see it happening. Where will you sell it? Who'll buy our products? And who'll come so far to buy it? And there was so many doubts. Women here, in general, the communities here are used to government organizations and other not-for-profit organizations coming here and working for a month or two max, like 2 weeks 2 week programs, 2 months training, and that's it, and then they're gone. So the training goes down the drain, nobody does anything with it. Some of them learn and use it for their personal household help, but but that's about it. They use it for their personal benefits, but not as a community coming together and starting an enterprise and working for long term goals. That was not a thing. So they had the same doubts with me as well, that, oh, you will come, maybe you'll stay a year, after a year what'll happen? um, we don't see this going anywhere. But they were interested for sure, because that is a skill that they were so confident with. And in 2014-15, we had 2G here, not many phones,
Mhm.
and all women were sitting chit chatting together and knitting, and they were more than happy if an enterprise came out of it.
So, Pratibha, how did the idea of Himalayan blooms take shape?
When I came to the village, everybody was knitting. They were going to the jungle with a big pack of firewood that they had collected, and they were knitting with the other two hands. They would balance the firewood on their head and knit. They would have ghas on their head for their cattle, and still they would be knitting. They're sitting in Mahila Sangeet knitting. There's a wedding going on, they're knitting. There's a small function, and they're chit chatting, they're knitting with the chai, they're knitting. So they're knitting all the time. And I said, if you're all the women here are voraciously knitting, why aren't you all earning
Mhm.
any income out of it? And they said, well, we don't have the market, and who will कौन खरीदेगा हमारा सामान बना हुआ products. So that was their doubt, and I said, okay, let's work on getting you a market, and that's what we did.
Pratibha, what do you remember most about starting with just 12 women?
Well, it was so personal then that I would go to their homes, sit with them for a cup of chai, stay. If sometimes I will have to walk across two mountains to reach their homes. So I would reach there maybe at late lunch and then stay till the evening. And I think all 12 of them we got very, very friendly, and, very close. And it was so personal. And it was so motivating that me meeting them for work would seem more like me meeting them to have a party. So, yeah, that was a close group of people who would knit with so much joy, and would be very excited to learn new designs, and finish a project that they started, and things like that. So we had a wonderful time. Yeah, getting all of the women together, we would more often chit chat, and these would prepare snacks while me checking their work. And it's like a small community having fun together.
Pratibha, we often talk about self-help groups, but building trust on ground isn't easy. So, how long did it take to build trust with the women?
When I came in here, people would Pahadis in general are very friendly people. So they're very nice and warm. But when it comes to running a business, they wouldn't, more than trusting me, they wouldn't trust the business will take off, you know so it was the trust with me was built quite easily as soon as I started accepting my Hindi grammar failures, and they would laugh at me and I would laugh with them. It was good. The trust with me was built easily. But I think it took me at least 3 years before I could convince them that an actual business is coming to shape with this enterprise, that we are going to not just shut shop after a project is over for a short stint, and this would continue to be their mode of income, primary mode of income, and will continue to do so for many, many more women to come for years. Yeah.
So, after completing your fellowship, you returned to Bangalore with the plan to hand over the project to the NGO. So at
Right.
that point, did you think Himalayan blooms would end there?
Not really. So my plan was to hand it over to the NGO I was working with as a part of Youth for India Fellowship. So I was presuming that my project will be taken by that NGO and they will run it because they have been working in this place, although not in the same field as knitting and crochet, but they have been working with farm produce and other farming activities for more than 20 years now. So my plan was to hand it over to the NGO, who's usually very, very responsible. But sadly, the NGO at that point did not have the skill set to run a handicraft business. And they said no. And that's when I was questioning that, oh my God, what the women were saying is true. That maybe, during this 1 year of the fellowship, Youth for India Fellowship, I I came here, I had a good time, made some products, chit chatted with the didis, had our chais and gupshup, and then that's it, end of business. When I went back home after my fellowship, I thought that um, this should not be the case. This is not what I came here to work for. I came here to work for a long term impact, and that's when I decided to come back and take the project forward myself.
There was an article about your work that was published then, and you received 100 emails. An NII supporter reached out to you. Could you please tell us about that story?
So there were a lot of people who wrote to me in 2015 when this article on Rediff was released. Rediff was doing quite well abroad, so I did receive a lot of emails from many saying, "How can we help with what you're doing?" And they said, uh, everybody would say, "How can we help?" But there was this one gentleman who had a whole list of ideas, and not just a question for me. He had ideas for me. He had ways and solutions for me. So I was quite surprised, and I was not sure at that point of time. I wanted to hand over the project I started to the NGO I was working with during the fellowship. So I told him that, listen, however you want to work, whether you want to donate funds or donate your time, you know, you it would be best if you could come here and see the work that's being done by yourself. And he was 70 years old then, and I thought most likely it will be a no, and we'll have. But he said, yes, fine, I'll visit. And I was quite surprised and told the NGO staff and everyone else that, listen, there's a stranger that who wants to help us. And they couldn't believe their ears, and they said, who would come all the way from New Jersey to just support us in this remote Himalayan village? And but to surprise, to all our pleasant surprise and happy surprise, he did visit us in 2015. We had to put him up in a hotel which is 15 kilometers away, because no at that point there are no hotels here in our village. And he came and he visited some of the most remote villages where we were working with the women. And he was very happy, and he still continues to support us. He came in and visited us even this year. So he's been coming every alternate year then on, and has strongly is one of our big reasons that we are Himalayan Blooms today.
How difficult it is to sell these crochet products?
Crochet and hand knitting are tough products to sell in our country, because handcrafted products are very well received and much appreciated um, abroad than here. But
Mm.
things are changing from past few years. A lot of people have started crocheting across the country.
Yeah.
So with things changing, even for us, competition is high, because every other person now is a crocheter. Every other person is an influencer who's crocheting in their free time, and making products. So competition is picked up. But yes, we are also upping our game, and we are hoping that our country gets more and more aware of the value that handcrafted products bring for them. And more and more people are ready to pay the high price that it comes at, um, for a craft that is not just pretty, but is also different in many ways. And it will, a craft which also adds purpose when they buy a product. It gives back to the communities who work with it. Yeah.
Yes. So, what kind of products do you made through this crochet and knitting?
We make in crochet we make a lot of toys, flowers, home decor, organizers like laptop sleeves and airpod covers. Um, but our, I think, number one category is toys, where our toys are very different. But having said that, we make anything and everything in crochet. We can make big blankets, daris, tableware. Small rakhis are our huge sellers. Handcrafted rakhis, crochet rakhis have picked up so well in these years, so well, and plus the competition has increased again. So yeah, we make everything fun in crochet, tops to dresses to neck warmers and caps. But we also knit, hand knit, winter wear, a lot of winter wear, from caps, mufflers, hoodies, jackets, socks, gloves, and all of it. Yeah.
Today, Himalayan Blooms works with 300 women across 40 villages, with centers in Kheti Khan, Lohagarh, Champawat, and Pati. What has been the biggest challenge while scaling logistics, quality control, or mindset?
Logistics is always a problem with the Pahad. Being Pahad, there is always some climate related problem with the roads. Either there's a landslide, or there's heavy rains and storms and things like that, and the roads are blocked. Um, Also, the roads are quite windy, so logistics is a problem. All the things are picking up online. E-commerce is picked up in general, so people are ordering, and the supply chain has become stronger. And other than that, in terms of uh, me trying to strengthen our value chain, has been tough, with internet also being not so stable here. It's getting better again. um, but I think the toughest part was for me to get the women to learn to run the business themselves. I think I am successful to an extent, uh, when you ask me the question in today's day and age. But if you had asked me 5 years ago, I was still struggling to teach the didis, some of the didis excel, and putting a simple formula on Microsoft Excel. And now they've come a long way. They've learned so many tools. They even use AI to generate images and design their posters, make catalog using Canva. They are on Instagram. So they're using social media. They're handling our website. So we've come a long way. We've progressed quite a lot in terms of leadership, which was quite a challenge in the beginning days of our lives. Yeah.
Pratibha, what does success mean to you today? Number and revenue, or a moment when a woman says, I'm financially independent now?
Yeah, I think you already summed it up for me. It is that one confident moment, where you say, where the woman says that my life is not fully entirely dependent on this one man. I can live it on my own strengths. I can travel out. I am confident now, and I have my own bank account and handle my money, and I can take care of myself. Of course, it'll be happy to have the family with me, but that does not mean that you can treat me badly because I'm not financially, or even um, uh, even if my education is not too up to the mark, right? So ultimately, success means you're confident, and success means that um, you are you're capable of living your own life and sustain it also. Atmanirbhar Bharat.
So, Pratibha, many young women listening today may be in corporate jobs but feel drawn towards something more meaningful. What honest advice would you like to give them?
I would say that um, you have to be in a strong space yourself before you think about helping um, your community or your neighbors or anyone else, right? So I would say look at your finances, look at your emotional stability, and then venture out, and then it's going to be amazing. The journey is life changing. To stay in a village and work with the communities is going to change more for yourself. Like your life is going to change more than their life.
Pratibha,
Yeah.
could you tell us any of the transformation story of one of your didis who are working with you?
Yeah. So there was this Didi called Rita Di. I will tell you two
Mhm.
stories, right? One of them is Rita Di. She was, her husband used to repair TVs, and she was a homemaker, and she had come to the village looking for works. They had shifted to this village, and she was not from this village, but she was extremely talented with crochet. And at that point of time when I met her, she was tailoring, but there was not much of tailoring work at that point of time. But her crochet skills was so good that in 2 years she picked up all the work. She would, at one point of time, in one of the few months that she worked with us, she made she made 30,000 rupees a month right in the beginning. And um and all the other didis, this word spread like fire
Hmm.
across the village. And I think it was easier to convince more didis to join us and work with us together um, because of her success story. So her success story um, had a ripple effect in the community, and many more didis started coming and knocking at our doors and saying, hey, can we get work? We heard that there is a lot of opportunities here. And the dada, means the husband, who used to be quite complaining of nature in the beginning, of not sending the didi to office.
Mhm.
After he saw her earning well, he started making time for her. He started cooking at home. He started looking more, taking up more of household chores, so that she gets a little free and comes to office, and
Mhm.
does her work with a freer mind space. So it's amazing. And she says, oh my god, I Pratibha, I can't believe that my wife is doing so well, and I'm so happy. And she seems so much more confident now than before. And yeah, I'm glad this has worked out. And I think that was the transformation story, not just for me, but I think for the village as well. She was the first one. The second transformation story is of a young girl who was in her 20s. She had lost her father, and she was supporting her mother by working with her in the field and supporting her siblings as well. And she joined us and she started working, and she picked up crochet so well that she started becoming our trainer for the rest of the communities. And now she is recognized even with the uh, district magistrate, the collectorate's office, where she is called for trainings. And she earns so well, not just with us, but with so many other people, by training more women, and inspiring more women uh, to get self-sufficient. This young girl who at one point didn't see much hope for herself is now the trainer, and she crochets, she designs, she writes design books, and has done very well for herself, and who's now going to very soon start her crochet channel on YouTube.
Pratibha, thank you for reminding us that purpose is often found outside our comfort zone, and that impact doesn't always begin with funding, it begins with faith. You are not just running Himalayan Blooms, you are building an ecosystem, a movement, and a possibility for hundreds of women.
Thank you so much, Varsha, for having me on this podcast, and it was great to chat with you.
If today's episode inspired you, please share it with someone else who needs to hear this story. I'm your host, Varsha Kaul, and you were listening to the Earshot podcast. See you next time with another inspiring It's Her Business story.
It's her business.